Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my Week 6 NFL MVP predictions. I did this video 3 weeks ago, and I figured it was about time to do a second MVP prediction video because a lot has changed in the NFL. Quarterbacks have gotten injured, players have improved, and I figured it was time to make an updated video with four of the spots on this list being all of the spots on this list being different except for the top spot, and four new players being on the list that weren't on the list last time. So make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoy my content, subscribe if you're new. We're trying to reach 100 subscribers. We're at 94, so that's insane. Thank you guys all for the support in the past 3 or 4 weeks. It's been incredible, and I can't wait to get right into this video. Before we start, these projections may be extreme and may cause viewers to rage quit the video. I don't believe every single player here will get these statistics, but I do think they have the potential to. So I don't think that there will be 7 quarterbacks that get 4,800 yards, or they get at least 40 touchdowns. But I think that it's very likely that any one of these quarterbacks could get over 40 touchdowns or 5,000 yards or whatever else. So just keep that in mind. I don't think that all of these players are going to get all of these stats because that's not possible. That's not likely. It's not going to happen. These are just my projections for what I think that they're capable of, and it's fun to hope for the best. Hope for all of these players to do well. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So we're starting off this list with Aaron Donald at number 10. Aaron Donald has 19 total tackles, 7 solo, 8 assists. 9 tackles for a loss, 7.5 sacks, and 49 sack yards. He has 2 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovered, and the Rams' record is 4-2. I project that he'll have 25 tackles for a loss this season for 19.5 sacks, both league leading, 6 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and 60 total tackles. I think that Aaron Donald is an NFL MVP candidate every single year. And I think that this year it would be very hard for him to get it because he's not a quarterback, and quarterbacks are throwing so insanely well this year that it's going to be extremely hard for a non-quarterback to win. But I have Aaron Donald on here anyways because he deserves a spot on this list. So he has about a 4% chance of getting the NFL MVP. In the number 9 position, I have Tom Brady. Tom Brady was not on this list after week 3 because he didn't have a very strong start to the season, but in the past 3 weeks he's come on strong. He has 143 passes for 143 of 223 for 1,541 yards, 14 touchdowns, 4 picks, and a quarterback rating of 97.8. He's number 16 for passing yards per game, and he's number 4 for passing touchdowns with a record of 4-2. I project he'll have around 4,200 yards, a quarterback rating of 98. 38 touchdowns, 9 picks, and 35 carries for 30 yards and 3 touchdowns. What's holding him back? His yards per game. His yards per game is number 16 in the league, and he doesn't have any rushing yards. So, although he is getting a lot of touchdowns compared to the rest of the league, his production, moving the offense down the field, a lot of that has to do with his running backs, and so that is a reason why he might not get the MVP, is because if he has a lot of very strong running backs that are getting them down the field, then he might not be considered the most valuable player. So 5% chance for Thomas Brady at number 9. In the number 8 position, we have Kyler Murray, who is 135 of 205 for 1,487 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 6 picks for a quarterback rating of 91.3. But he also has 51 carries for 370 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. He has 16 total touchdowns, which is number 4 in the league, or number 5 in the league. Either way you slice it, it's pretty up there. His record is 4-2, and I'm projecting he'll have around 4,000 yards, only 200 less than Tom Brady, but have 1,000 rushing yards. So he could easily be the first 4,000 and 1,000 quarterback. Last year we saw Lamar go 3,000 to 1,000. Kyler Murray is on track to hit 4,000 to 1,000. With a quarterback rating of, I think he'll get up to 94. I think he'll improve throughout the rest of the season by throwing a couple less picks. I think that in the full season he'll have 28 touchdowns and 15 picks. and 16 rushing touchdowns is what he's on track for. Who knows if that's likely? He might get more passing and less rushing as the season progresses, but either way, it's a very impressive season. What's holding him back is his passing touchdowns, because I know that the NFL MVP isn't based off of just your passing stats, but if you're a quarterback, a lot of what they're going to look at is your passing. And so if you have 28 passing touchdowns versus 40 from Tom Brady, then even if you do have 16 rushing touchdowns, that may or may not be looked at differently. I'm not sure how they judge the MVP, but I think that could hold him back a little bit, so I gave him a 6% chance of getting the MVP. At number 7, we have our first of 2 running backs, Alvin Kamara. He has 61 carries for 281 yards and 4 touchdowns, as well as 38 receptions for 395 yards and 3 touchdowns. He leads the NFL in scrimmage yards and has a record of 3-2 on the Saints. Projections, I project he'll have 200 carries for 1,000 yards and 120 catches for 1,200 yards. He'll be one of the first 1,000. Well, he'll be the only 1,000 running back this season, and I think that he'll be the first running back to go 10-10 for touchdowns, with 10 rushing and 10 receiving. What's holding him back is his rushing yards, and he's not a quarterback. Usually, running backs need 2,000 rushing yards to get the MVP, and I don't think that he'll be able to do it because he catches too many footballs, which is an amazing part of how he plays, but not good for MVP votes, so I gave him an 8% chance of getting the MVP. At number 6, we have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has 123 carries for 588 yards and 6 touchdowns, as well as 8 catches for 84 yards. I was wrong. Sorry, Alvin Kamara does not lead the league in scrimmage yards. Derrick Henry does by about 80. Because I forgot about his receiving yards. Right now, the Titans are at 6-0. And Derrick Henry I'm projecting him to get 400 carries for 2,000 yards and 20 receptions for 200 yards, as well as 16 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns. Derrick Henry, I think, could easily have a 2,000-yard season. He's well on his way to have it. And I think that his first couple of games of the season were a little rough, his first 3 games. And so the last 3 games are what we're going to look at for how he's going to do for the rest of the season. And he's looking very strong, and I think that he's going to continue to do well as he's been doing. What's holding him back is that he's not a quarterback, just like Alvin Kamara and Ryan Tannehill. I think that if 2 players are MVP candidates on the same team, it could potentially hurt the other candidate, because if you have 2 MVP candidates, which one is more helpful? Which one is more valuable? That's hard to decide. So he has a 9% chance. Tied at number 4, we have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is 114 of 174 for 1,374 yards, 13 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a quarterback rating of 109.7. He has 8 carries for 45 yards, and he's number 10 in yards per game and number 5 in touchdowns. His record is 4-1, and I project that he'll have around 4,400 yards, quarterback rating of 110, 40 touchdowns, 4 picks, and 35 carries for 175 yards. What's holding him back? Nothing yet. There's not really anything holding him back. I think that he's going to continue to do this and get the stats that I projected for him. I think that he's right on track to get 4,400 yards and 40 touchdowns, and I think that he'll get that. So, what's holding him back is that his stats through 6 games aren't as good as the top 3. So, next is Ryan Tannehill, tied with Aaron Rodgers. He's 121 of 173 for 1,368, 13 touchdowns and 2 picks. Does that look a little familiar? 114 of 174 for 1,370. 121 of 173 for 1,370. Seems similar to me. 15 carries for 77 yards and a touchdown. Number 11 for yards per game and number 6 for touchdowns. Record of 5-0. And he's projected same passing stats as Rodgers, except 1 more pick, and he has those rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. So I guess Ryan Tannehill would have a slight advantage over Aaron, but at this point in the season, we don't really know which one is going to end up having better statistics, and also Derrick Henry is going to hold back Ryan Tannehill's chances of getting it a little bit, because, again, the same thing with Derrick Henry is, hey, if Derrick Henry has 2,000 yards and Ryan Tannehill has an amazing passing season, Who was more valuable? We don't know. Oh, they'd probably go with the quarterback, but you're still not sure. Number three, we have Josh Allen. Josh Allen is 145 of 216 for 1,711 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 4 picks for a quarterback rating of 108.0. He has 37 carries for 144 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he's number 6 in yards per game and number 2 in passing touchdowns. He's one of 2 players on this list that is in the top, that's almost in the top 5 for both. His record is 4-2, and I project he'll have around 4,700 yards, quarterback rating of 109, 38 touchdowns, 10 picks, and 100 carries for 500 yards and 9 touchdowns. For most of the quarterbacks, I have their rating a little bit lower than what it is right now, but for him, I'm projecting a higher rating because the last couple of games have been against very tough teams, and he hasn't played too impressively. So I think that throughout the whole course of the season, he'll probably end off around 110 quarterback rating. I think that, and one of the reasons why he's so high on this list with 38 touchdowns is because because of his rushing. He has 3 rushing touchdowns through 6 games, and I think that he can continue to do that. What's holding him back is his sustainability. Again, the past 2 weeks haven't been nearly as impressive as the first 4, so you don't know if he'll be able to sustain these statistics for the whole season. So that's his biggest question mark, and right now, I almost put him lower than this, even though his statistics are incredible for passing and rushing combined. But if he just needs to sustain it, if he does, he'll have a very strong candidacy, 13% chance. At number 2, we have Patrick Mahomes. He is 144 of 219 for 1,699 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 1 pick for a quarterback rating of 110.1. He has 44 carries for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's number 7 for yards per game and number 3 for passing touchdowns, right behind Josh Allen for both. He's 5-1, and I'm projecting he'll have very similar stats to Josh Allen: 4,700 yards, 110 passer rating. I have him projected to have more touchdowns because I think that he is more sustainable in that category than Josh Allen. I think he'll have 42 and only 3 picks compared to Josh Allen's plethora. I think that he'll also have 90 carries for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns compared to Josh Allen's 9. What's holding him back, I think, is the second half of the season. Throughout his first 2 seasons, he tends to do very well in the first half of the season, undefeated in some cases for the first 8 games or more, and then he will drop off. He's still phenomenal. He'll still play phenomenal. He'll still play like Patrick Mahomes, but his statistics and his wins will drop off just slightly in the second half of the season, and I'm not expecting it to happen this year. I think that he's a more consistent player as he gets older, but I think that could potentially happen and hurt his MVP chances. Right now, he has a 15% chance of getting the NFL MVP, and he is number 2 on the list. Number 1 is Russell Wilson, of course. 123 of 169, 1,502 yards, 19 touchdowns, 3 picks, quarterback rating of 130, 23 rushes for 153 yards. He's only played 5 games, and he has the second most touchdowns through 5 games in NFL history. He has the most touchdowns in the league, the most passing touchdowns in the league by 3. And he's played 1 less game than every other quarterback on this, than every other top quarterback on this list. I'm projecting he'll have 4,800 yards, 123 rate, 53 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 70 rushes for 450 yards and 2 touchdowns. He could potentially break the NFL passing touchdowns record. I wasn't going to predict that because it's hard to predict someone breaking a record, but I predicted Dak Prescott to break a record in my previous NFL MVP video, and I probably would still have him on here as breaking the NFL passing yards record, even with his record, with his team's record. But sadly, his injury happened, and he won't be getting the MVP this season. What's holding Russell back is nothing, just like Rodgers. Russell Wilson has nothing holding him back right now. He can keep balling out the rest of the season, and he likely will be the NFL MVP if he keeps up the way he's playing. So he has a 20% chance of getting the NFL MVP. So thank you guys all for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I really enjoy making these videos. It's a lot of fun to share my opinions with other people and see how they respond. So thank you guys for all the support that you've given me in the past couple of weeks. It's amazingly appreciated. Let's get to 100 subscribers. And yeah, see you all in the next video, and have a great day. Peace out.